Hey guys, so I have some big news. Cameron Bertuzzi of Capturing Christianity has agreed to host and moderate a debate between myself and Joe Heschmeyer, an apologist with Catholic Answers. We will be debating the subject of the Great Apostasy on December 19th in Draper, Utah. It should be a great debate. Tickets are selling fast, so visit thoughtfulfaith.org to buy your tickets before they're gone. So some of you might have heard of Mark Driscoll.
If you were raised in a Mormon home, you had a demonic stronghold in your family. The stronghold was a cult. It was an offshoot of Christianity, but it was anti-Christ. It was a dark, demonic, despicable, damnable spirituality.
Mark is perhaps the most anti-Mormon Protestant pastor in America. He has emphatically stated that all of your Mormon neighbors will be tortured eternally by God in the fires of hell. Mark even gave an entire sermon implying that the demonic forces of Mormonism motivated the shooter of Charlie Kirk.
And then he decides that he is going to execute, murder, assassinate, martyr our brother in Christ. The question is, why? And I would say, demon, demon, demon. Right. This man was a Mormon growing up. It was his youth pastor, along with his father, who encouraged him to turn himself in. Mormonism is a demonic cult. When you can't find a physical cause, look for a spiritual cause.
Now, many people might remember in September when a gunman who explicitly believed in the idea that Mormons are demonic decided to ram his car into a Latter-day Saint church and gun down old women and children while he attempted to burn the building down with all of the people inside. Luckily, most were able to escape, but 4 people were gunned down as the flames consumed the church. It was a horrific hate crime inspired by anti-Mormon rhetoric. So how did Mark Driscoll respond after this attack? Well, a few days after the shooting, he announced his release of a new book on why all Mormons who were killed are going to hell. Yeah, he really did that. Meanwhile, in the days following the shooting, tens of thousands of Latter-day Saints raised over $250,000 to support the child of the shooter who deals with a chronic childhood illness and who had just lost his father. But why does Pastor Mark think members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are all going to hell? Why does he think that we are not Christians? Well, I reached out to Pastor Mark to see if he was willing to talk. But after getting no response, I decided to contact my friend and fellow YouTuber, HaydenCarroll. And we decided to do something that is very, very Mormon.
Hayden, what are we doing?
We're going to go give cookies to Mark Driscoll.
We are going to give cookies to Mark Driscoll. And we're going to have a big fat sign that says, what is it going to say?
Mormons are Christians.
That is correct.
Now, Hayden and I were not trying to yell or protest Mark or his congregation. Our plan was just to set up a tent by his church and invite people to have some cookies and a conversation. I mean, we figured that if they talk so much about us in their church, maybe they'd be willing to talk to us. Also, I have found that it's very easy to hate an abstraction. It's not so easy to hate someone who gives you a smile and a cookie and shows a genuine interest in a meaningful conversation about your differences in belief. However, Mark's security detail was quick to show up, and they told us that we were on private property. But luckily, Hayden and I did our homework and showed them that where we were was located on public property. So they tried telling us that they used the area for parking, and then they told us that we might obstruct the view of traffic. And the guy speaking with us said that he was a retired cop and that Scottsdale PD or the city officials might take action against us. Luckily, I know the drill, and I know how public property works. So I politely told him,
If we are in violation of something where we need to move or whatever, and the cops come, like we'll immediately leave.
Oh yeah,
So,
I
not a
understand
problem.
that. I just want to give you guys a heads up of kind of what this is and the issues that we have with the city.
Now, also to be fair, his security team was not mean-spirited about it, but they certainly were not wanting anyone to talk to us. Those guys are over there kind of playing the bouncers. Anyone who starts to walk towards us, they tell us, don't go talk to the Mormons.
I'll leave it alone.
So, as you can see, they decided to park their cars to try and keep everybody away from us. To be honest, this was all very ironic, considering that Mark Driscoll claims to be a major fan of Charlie Kirk. And Charlie's method of engaging in the public conversation was with people who disagreed with him face to face. Sadly, however, the tactics from Mark's security team seemed to work, and it seemed that anyone who wanted to come talk to us was redirected away from us by Mark's security. But then something sort of ironic happened. A Catholic who happened to be passing by knew who I was because he had watched my debate with Trent Horn, and he was very eager to sit down and have a conversation about if Mormons are Christians. And what followed was a great conversation that will come out soon on Hayden's channel, Let's Talk with HaydenCarroll. So in the end, what was this really all about? Well, what it's all about is what Mark is not willing to do, but what our good Catholic friend was willing to do. And that is to connect with your fellow man and engage in brave face-to-face conversations like Charlie Kirk did. But hey, let's give it another try. Mark, I would like to formally invite you to do a public discussion or debate on the following question. Is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a force for evil in the world?
If you were raised in a Mormon home, you had a demonic stronghold in your family. It was a dark, demonic, despicable, damnable spirituality.
Mark, you spend a lot of time talking about Latter-day Saints. Well, now is your chance to actually talk with one. I hope to hear from you.